Good morning. It has been a few days since the last update. It's Saturday the 26th, 7:35 in the morning. Uh, got a little bit of a later start. We've been starting about 7 o'clock most days, which feels pretty good with the temperatures. It's getting a bit cooler overnight. So, kind of seems to be the new routine is start hiking around 7 and just hike until you get the miles you need and find a place to camp. Been hiking with Lost and Found since a couple the day before the day before Snow called me. So it's been fun. That's part of the reason for no update. I've been hiking with her a bit. Yeah, it seems kind of the way when you meet somebody new, there's a lot more to talk about. So a bit of talking, plus I think we had both been solo for a bit, so it felt good to talk a bit. We'll probably do a little bit of together, a little bit of separate. That kind of seems to be the way. But it's been really good. My cousin Christy told me how great Section J was, which is the section we're on right now from Snoqualmie up to Stevens Pass. And I have to say, Christy, you're absolutely right. It's been remarkably beautiful. Definitely, views-wise, my favorite section of trail so far. So where we're at, we've passed the 2,400 mile marker. By the end of today, we should only have 200 trail miles left to go to get to Canada. However, we've got about an extra 50-mile detour because of that fire closure up ahead. Not expecting the fire closures to open. I'm not sure if I talked about this or not. At least one of them, I read an article where they were talking to the fire department about it. And their strategy right now is just to contain, which makes sense. They want to let nature do its thing, let the forest burn so it can regrow. It is the right thing to do from a land management perspective. Kind of stinks for us as through hikers, but that's the way that it goes. You know, we only have this little fire to deal with. Last year they had more than that, so and there might be more than that up here in the future. I'm just glad that the window between me and Canada is getting smaller and smaller. Yeah, so we're getting there. Lost and Found needs to be in Manning Park, which is 10 miles north of Canada, well, 10 miles north of the Canadian border, and on September 9th. So that kind of works out well timing-wise. I was planning on being down at Rainy Pass in time for my cousin to pick me up. Forget if that was the 8th or the 9th, but that was 60 miles south of Canada. But we probably got about an extra 2 days of hiking because of that reroute. I think I'm actually going to go into Leavenworth when we get to Stevens Pass. I don't really need to. There's not really anything in town I need, but Lost and Found's going and doing the math, miles per day when I'm going to get to Snoqualmie. There's I was originally going to try to get there 6 days from now, so next Friday, before the post office closed. But with the reroute, that's not going to be, if I beat feet, I might be able to make it, but I'm not trying to do that. So I'm just going to get there on Monday, which means there's no rush to get out of Stevens too early. And I'll take an extra day there, just because I got to take a day either there or Stehekin, and as long as I got a friend at one of them, I'll stick with her. So that's kind of the plan for right now. Not a whole lot to update you on other than, it's been beautiful views. We met a couple really cool people at Washington Alpine Club. Oh, my day there was amazing. That place is really cool. The walls are all lined with pictures and different articles and old gear, and that place just felt like it was dripping with cool alpine history, pictures of different trips they'd been on, summiting Mount Rainier, other other trips, other parts of the world. It was just really, really cool. And the two hosts there, Nick and Katie, were really cool as well. We made friends with them. Yeah, got their numbers. Who knows? They're both from Seattle. I'm going to be in Seattle for a couple of days hanging out with Christy before I head back home. Christy and Robbie and Audra are really excited about that. But who knows? It's cool meeting other people, different parts of the world. It's cool when you meet somebody and just kind of click. But yeah, we were all hanging out, having a good time, and then they hiked out 7 miles with us up to the lake and walked back. So I think that's about it for now, but we're gonna keep marching north, and we're getting awfully close to Canada. It feels good. Until next time. Hi. Alright, it has been a couple of days since I've done an update. It's Thursday the 31st, about 1:10. I think we're about 12, 13 miles into the day, which is less than I normally like to have by this point, but we just got done doing a hell of an incline. Washington's got a lot more up and down than what we've seen, and I'm going to show you around here. We got a nice little spot for lunch. Hopefully that's showing you what it should be showing you. So, not too shabby. That guy hiking over there is Tall Boy. He went through the Sierras as well, and actually went to Greenon. 1 year he was a foreign exchange student. He was a German guy, and ran cross country with my brother and Vicky, and it's a small world. But yeah, this is the nicest the weather has been and the closest I've come to seeing the sun in the past 3 days. It's been cold, wet, kind of miserable, a lot of up and down, and yeah, a lot of type 2 fun the past few days, I guess. Um, so I don't know. That's about it. We are about 50, 60 miles or so north of Stevens Pass. Definitely a lot less people on trail at this point. A lot of people have hopped off. Not a ton of people do this section just for funsies, especially with the weather that we've been having. So not a lot of day hikers, well, no day hikers, not a lot of weekend warriors or section hikers. Only people that we've seen doing sections are doing large sections, doing like all of Washington. And a lot less through hikers. The Sobos have obviously, at this point, all gone past, so not really seeing anybody come in the opposite direction. And as far as people heading our way, I know there's some people a day or two up ahead, but right now we're kind of just hiking. Me and Lost and Found, we've been running into Tall Boy. We didn't see her yesterday, but a girl named Green Thunder is just a little ways behind us. And that section hiker I was referring to, I don't know if we'll see him anymore. He was doing a little bit lower mileage than us. We camped with him last night, so that might be the last we see of Bugs. So yeah, a little bit more remote out here, a little reminiscent both between the misery as well as the remoteness, reminiscent of the Sierras. Definitely not quite as bad with regards to, we're not having to wake up at 2 and hike at 3, but I do have wet feet just about as much, if not more, than I have in the Sierras, than I did in the Sierras. The Sierras, at least the sun came out and you were able to dry out equipment. I was thinking about it this morning, might be the only time that I had to put on sopping wet socks in the morning. I know I've had to put them on and they were still a little bit damp before, but at least mostly dried. Now in the Sierras I did have a third pair of socks, so that kind of helped with the rotation, but yeah, normally, one gets wet, you let it dry off on your pack and then you're good to go the next day, but when you don't see the sun for 3 days straight. And when I'm saying that this is the best weather that we've had, I mean by leaps and bounds. Most of the time, visibility is probably quarter mile. Can't see what the hell is out there, and just kind of seems, I don't know, ominous. Seems like the opening scene of Pirates of the Caribbean. So yeah, I think that's it. We're gonna get as close as we can to the junction where we're gonna hop off. So as of now, all the miles we've done are PCT miles, but that junction's coming up. I think from where we camped last night, it was like 34 miles. We're gonna try to knock out about 25 today, so we'll have about 9 miles to that junction tomorrow, and then we'll do 10, 12 miles, something like that, into Holden tomorrow. So should be getting into Holden at a decent time, but after mostly a full day of hiking, maybe just a couple miles short of what we would have done otherwise. But who knows, those side trails, there's no guarantee what the grading looks like. It might go straight up, straight down, could be some blowdowns. I know that there was some talk of people from Holden, you know, going there and trying to clear the trail as much as possible. So hopefully it's relatively clear, but it might be a little bushwhacky. It's just kind of the nature of it. So we'll see when we get there. Not going to worry about that. I am not stopping at Holden. I may spend the night there, but if I do, it'll just kind of be, you know, in between 2 days, because I've got 20 miles from there to Stehekin. I think most people are going to take the last, the last ferry before the post office closes on Saturday, which is at like 10, 11 o'clock, something like that. So they'll take that into Stehekin. I'll walk into Stehekin and then probably stay one night there, and head out to Mazama, a couple days there, couple day hike to get there, and then I gotta thumb it down to Winthrop. I bounced my box from Stehekin to Winthrop, so I didn't have to carry 5 days of food on a 2-day hike and walk into town with 3 days of food on my back. So Lost and Found had 4 days of food there. I had 5 days of food there. We're going to split her 2 days of food between the two of us, and I'll Venmo her whatever she thinks the value of it was. We'll both walk to Mazama. I'll have my box there, and she'll just resupply, because the 5 days worth of food should be about dead on for what I need to get up to the Canadian border and then back. So some of the final details coming along, which kind of feels good. But yeah, there was a little more figuring than I expected with regards to logistics, just with the closures and stuff like that. But I think we got her figured out. Who knows, the closures, I'm hoping that with this weather there at least aren't any new fires that I find out about when we get into town. But there's less and less miles up ahead north of us. I think trail wise we've got about 150 miles of the PCT left to go. Actually, I think about 100. Well, I think after tomorrow we should have about 150 total to go, including the detour, because we're hopping off with just about 110 miles to go of PCT miles, but we're adding an extra 50 or so, because that's just the way that it is. But I'm trying not to complain. I'm just grateful that we've got a way to walk around it. You know, some people don't get that fortunate, so being able to keep that footpath is, I don't know. I've been thinking about it a lot. I know it's kind of crazy, you know, some of the things you got to do to keep it, but for me that's important. But wildlife, I've been seeing a ton of marmots, pikas, not sure how to say those, but been seeing those, ton of chipmunks, squirrels, that sort of thing. Saw some sort of bird of prey earlier today. Not sure exactly what kind. I was gonna try to snap a photo, but then it flew away. It had landed in a tree that I was walking towards. But yeah, that's about it. You know, still definitely glad to be out here, but 3 days of rain and no sun, everything's wet. You know, sometimes it's a struggle to enjoy the day, but overall, definitely glad I'm out here. Just, you know, sometimes it's a little more type 2 fun than you might wish. So, all right, until next time.